His role involved reverse engineering technology from extraterrestrial spacecraft. Lazar provided detailed descriptions of the alleged alien spacecraft, asserting that there were 9 flying saucers stored in hangars at S4.
Exactly what's going on up there?
Well, there's several, actually 9 flying saucers, flying discs that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
I shouldn't say this, but I'm saying this. The age of the gurus is ending in many ways. This bowl is about 3 inches above the head on the ground. The water started boiling. There are over 200 people watching the water boiling, all right? Because it created so much heat, then I let it go because it could burn up the person, fuse out that person in some ways. Because the moment it felt trapped, it created such heat.
And how many times has this happened?
I have to admit, I was stepping into an area where I don't know a damn thing, okay?
Right.
So you could make a mistake and take somebody's life or your own life or something like that. Exactly at 2:30 in the morning, it starts. Boom, activity like that for about 1.5 hours, 1 hour 40 minutes like that. After that, it just goes down. It's almost like a busy airport. They're not spirits.
No?
No. Anything that's related to the planet, we will just know immediately.
Why for millions of years, one particular spot on the planet has been used by life which doesn't belong here? Why? And why the same place?
So if you look at this whole setup, the geological setup around it, you see what is called as a conglomerate of mass, which is like concrete, which has all pebbles molded into some molten earth. So something happened there which created temperatures between 800 to 1100 degrees centigrade, which melted the soil, but which did not melt the rocks. If a volcano happens, rocks melt because the temperatures go up to 3000 degrees centigrade. If a meteorite lands, temperatures hit 4000 to 6000 degrees centigrade, so everything melts. These are the two phenomena we know which generally create that kind of temperature. Or if the tectonic plates move, which has definitely happened in the area, if they happen, then also temperatures could raise because of the friction and things could melt. I really don't have enough scientific information as to what is the kind of temperatures that happen. Some Russian scientist says that this kind of tectonic clash could create that kind of 800 to 1000 degrees centigrade and soil could melt and all this stuff. It's possible. That looks like the most sensible scientific explanation that one can give. So soil melted and the rock did not melt. That's why you see all those mountains like concrete standing up with all pebbles sticking all over the place. All the mountains around when you're walking are like concrete mountains. You can see pebbles and molten soil. But Kailash alone is standing like a steel, like black steel, it's standing there. And last time we sent people right up to the core to get some rocks from the mountain itself. And we have them with us. We see that it's energy-wise, it's reverberating in a big way, but we do not know the geological composition of this. Is it a meteorite or is it a certain rising that happened from the earth itself? We do not know that exactly. Geologically, they say it's a certain rising. Why this rising happened, all this, I have not found any logical explanations to this. Why a peak would rise like that, I really do not know. If it's because of tectonic movement, it should have been of one kind, like you find the Indian Himalayas, it's of one kind, it has peaks, but it's of one kind. Here it seems to be different. There may be a geological explanation, I do not know. But you can see geologically it's of a different structure altogether. Either you can try to read miraculous happenings into this, or if there isn't anything like that, it's just a natural earth formation happening that's happened, and somehow this peak had more integrity. Obviously it has because of the kind of rock that it is. So Shiva and other yogis chose this place because this was a good place. That could be the most sensible explanation. Or there could be some other crazy happening because there's a crazy lake next door. So there could be some possible craziness out there in its making. Or it could be just a natural geological happening. Both are possible. We need a scientific assessment of this, which we haven't found yet. Story-wise, Shiva is always sitting at the peak of Kailash with Parvati sitting on his lap, on his left lap. This is all you need to understand. This is a story which is trying to narrate a certain dimension of life. This is not a physical thing that there's a man sitting there and a woman sitting on his lap. That's not the point. How life is made, that's how the story is. The science of life expressed in a story form, a dialectical expression of life. So, he's sitting on this peak constantly. Unless he goes to his original Kailash, sometimes he goes away, only then he's missing, otherwise he's always sitting there. So Kailash is his original abode. This is his visiting Kailash. It has many aspects to it. We've been promising you that we will find out the nature of this material, what this is, and I sent a few pieces with one of the Detroit meditators. They were supposed to find out, and I don't know, I think they must be keeping the stones in their house and worshipping it or something. They got the nice stones and they must be keeping it in their shrine. I don't know what happened, but I have not gotten any reports. Somebody else said there's another place in Arizona and they're going to send it there, and they took a few more pieces from me, and I don't know where they went. So, apart from this, the significance of the mountain for us is not its nature, how it happened, however it has happened. Is it a meteorite? Did it land slowly for some reason and all this kind of stuff? Maybe it's just a natural happening, but for us the significance is right now what it has become a station for. It's become a station of knowledge and grace. That's all that matters to us.
You're trying to relive your life for what it was, what it meant to you when you're 20, 25. If the same things you're looking for at 75, you don't understand how your life is organized in terms of time and space. You just don't get it. What is the context of your existence? When I'm here, you don't need any goddamn tools. If you are here, but you are not here, I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to the entire clan. If you are really here, you don't need any damn tools. Because you're not here, you need tools. More. I said, if you just sit with me for one moment, you don't need anything else, you're right here, all right? But there is a bag, there's a down bag, which doesn't make you feel the weather. So, you must know what you should protect yourself against and what you should allow yourself to be soaked with. Hello? See, right now, the cold weather, you must protect yourself against that because your body is not designed to take that. So, let's say you ate something. That was dinner? Okay. So you ate your food. Suppose you protect yourself against that, what do? No, you'll die of lack of nourishment. You must be receptive to what you consume, isn't it? So what you must protect yourself against, what you should allow and become receptive to, if this discrimination is not there within oneself, then tools slowly to work you, to tighten all the screws, it takes a long time. By the time you tighten one thing, you loosen another thing. If the time we tighten this one, you lose another one. This goes on. I'm not saying tools are not good, tools are good, unfortunately people need it. I'm saying unfortunately, because if they were truly on, they don't need any tools. So, in many ways, this is the age of technology in engineering, you know. In many ways, I shouldn't say this, but I'm saying this. The age of the gurus is ending in many ways, because that time is over. When people feel a certain energy, they will dissolve in it, they will become one with it, they'll throw everything away and go behind that, because they recognize the value of that. I think with the age of technology that's gone, because one thing is it has to fit into their logical nonsense, another thing is, where is it? Tell me, they need something tangible in their hands. So tools are the only way forward. The age of the guru is really coming to an end in many ways.
How are you experiencing this thing? Can you just tell me how you're experiencing these things?
See, in certain spaces, there are very strong presence, which is when you feel the texture of that life, you know it is not like anything that we know here. Obviously, it doesn't belong here. It has a different source than the life that we are. When I say the life that we are, see, this is the yogic sciences. This will confuse people if we go that far, because people are thinking yoga is for backache, yoga is for health, yoga is for slimming down.
We've already
Like this.
established that's not
Yeah.
the case.
So, yoga means you know the texture of life.
Unity.
That is one thing. I'm talking about the texture of this life. If you know the texture of this life…
Okay.
See, people ask me, how do you know all this? I don't know anything. There's only one thing I know. I know the nature of this piece of life from its origin to its ultimate. Because every other life is in some way built the same way, people think I know every other life. No, I know only this life. But fortunately, every other life from a single microbe to a human being to every other creature in some way is a reflection of this life. Because it's all connected, even the evolutionary sciences are saying the same thing, even the religions are saying the same thing, all right? So, in that sense, I know the texture of this life and every other life here. But there are some lives which don't have the texture, which are totally different.
And how are you experiencing these lives?
You want me to say something ridiculous now?
No, no. I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
No, if I say something which is illogical, it'll seem ridiculous,
I
right?
don't think it's illogical.
It will be logical because it'll not fit into the framework of human logic.
Well, the framework of human logic is based on our own experience and interpretation of the life that we lived. It doesn't mean that other people haven't experienced or interpreted something that is beyond our comprehension because we haven't experienced it personally.
See,
I think that's logical.
we have done experiments where we attracted certain life which doesn't have any texture of earthly life.
And how do you conduct these experiments?
I used certain people to invite them into their bodies, and what happened there is totally unbelievable for people, because I'll tell you a simple thing. I invited a certain life into one person's body. I kept… the weather was already like nearly zero, kind of sub-zero kind of atmosphere. It was in Tibet. And I kept a bowl of water about 3 inches above the head. And when this life entered and I tried to hold it within that body, you won't believe, this bowl which is 3 inches the person is lying down on the ground, on wet soil, they just put a bed sheet and this person is lying down. This bowl is about 3 inches above the head on the ground. The water started boiling. There are over 200 people watching, the water boiling, all right? Because it created so much heat, then I let it go because it could burn up the person, fuse out that person in some ways. Because the moment it felt trapped, it created such heat. The water is actually boiling 3 inches away from the
Did you film this?
Huh? From a distance they filmed it, bad filming, they were not really looking for it, but it is there.
And how many times has this happened?
We did this about 2 times we did it properly, another time we did a mild one. After that, I thought I will go spend time there, which has never happened. And above all, it doesn't serve any purpose like that,
It doesn't serve a purpose to
It doesn't…
experiment?
it is more to know, not… it doesn't serve a purpose as to how you can use, because it could be… I have to admit, I was stepping into an area where I don't know a damn thing, okay?
Right.
So you could make a mistake and take somebody's life or your own life or something like that.
So whatever these life forms are that you're experiencing, they're only… you can only experience them through another person's body?
No, not like that. Only because I experienced, I wanted to demonstrate it to the people who are watching.
And how did you know that it was a thing? Like, how did you know that you could experience it that way and exhibit it, put it on display for the people that are watching?
Well, see, your whole perception right now for most human being is limited to 5 senses. Seeing,
Yes.
hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. This is how you know the world. If something has no smell, no taste, no touch, you won't know.
But there could be an infinite number of
Oh,
senses
yes.
that we're not aware of.
Yes.
That we don't possess.
So these things I've faced in many places, but there are certain places where there is a unreasonable level of concentration. So one place is this Kailash Manasarova region in Tibet. In last 2 years, we've not been able to go because the Chinese have closed this because of this corona virus or whatever. Probably next year it'll open up. Last year we went, we viewed Kailash and Manasarova from 8 to 10 kilometers away. At the Nepali border, we went there and even from a distance, what it does to people is unbelievable.
So it's just one concentrated hot spot
Yeah.
of activity.
Yes, and that too, it's like clockwork. Exactly at 2:30 in the morning, it starts. Boom, activity like that for about 1.5 hours, 1 hour 40 minutes like that. After that it just goes down. It's almost like a busy airport. Boom, 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 things are happening. But not like crafts or anything, just bunches of lives, just up and down, things happening for about 1.5 to 2 hours max.
Do you think they're extraterrestrial? Do you think they're interdimensional? Do you think they're spirits?
They're not spirits.
No?
No. Anything that's related to the planet, we will just know immediately. It's not a…
It's
not
something that's from somewhere else.
It is definitely from somewhere else. And, these are crazy things, man.
From here on, whatever I speak is just conjecture and legend. We're not 100% sure of anything that I say from now on. We're just looking at it. One thing is clear, here, this we are 100% sure, is there's a tremendous amount of activity in the lake. And this activity is… the nature of the activity is such that it has nothing to do with anything that we know as life on this planet. It's something totally different. It's life, but not the way we know it. I wouldn't call Manasarovar a spiritual place because spirituality is out of human being. These beings, if you can call them that, I don't know what we can call them, whether we can call them beings or things or creatures or what. We have no words for things or happenings which don't belong to our realm of experience. They don't belong to anything that we know as life. So for now, due to lack of words, we'll call them beings. Their nature is nothing to do with who we are and what we are, on this level at least. So this is not really a spiritual place, but somehow life from somewhere has chosen this almost like an airport. They're just landing, taking off, landing, taking off at a tremendous pace. This is just crazy. This doesn't stand to any reason. Why for millions of years, one particular spot on the planet has been used by life which doesn't belong here? Why? And why the same place? And why for so long?
Why Kailash has always been considered as the abode of many great beings is because many great beings chose to deposit their work, preserve their work in Kailash. Starting from Shiva himself and the first of the Tirthankars and two of greatest Buddhist teachers. All these people chose Kailash Parvat as a place to preserve their work. When I say preserving work, for most mystics on this planet, till now, in all these thousands of years, if they get to share 1 or 2% of their work with people around them, they are very fortunate. Most of them don't even get to do that. So they always chose to deposit in some space which is not too frequented by human beings. At the same time, it's accessible for those who wish to go. So Kailash is such a place. It is not totally inaccessible, but it's hard enough to discourage a lot of people. There are many places like that. But in terms of the volume and the variety that's been deposited in Kailash, it is the place. So this is why it is known as the abode of Shiva, not because if you dig in the rock somewhere you will find him, because everything that he knew has been deposited there in a certain energy form. So all that is valuable for us in his life, from his life, is here. So in that sense, he's alive here. He's still living here because in an energy form he's alive. Many beings are alive there. But you should not go about imagining, because the first thing that happens to people who go to Kailash and Manasarovar and come is they looked up in the sky, you see that? Shiva and Parvati. Don't miss the bull. As a subterranean spaces, a diameter of 2 to 3 kilometers.
Life from somewhere has chosen this almost like an airport.
From feet up to navel, it's a fully developed male form, but on top of it, it's all translucent.
His problem was he could enter the solar system only at certain times.
They want me minus my body. It would be nice one day to step in and see what the hell.
Bob Lazar's assertion about aliens and unidentified flying objects, UFOs, have been a source of intrigue and controversy since he first came forward in 1989. Over the years, his narrative has evolved, weaving a complex tapestry of claims, investigations, validations, and skepticism. Let's delve deeper into the timeline and details of Bob Lazar's discussions on aliens. 1989. Genesis of the claims. In May 1989, Bob Lazar made his initial revelations in an interview with investigative journalist George Knapp TV station Class. Lazar claimed to have been employed by the United States government to work on a highly classified project at a remote site called S4, adjacent to the infamous Area 51. According to Lazar, his role involved reverse engineering technology from extraterrestrial spacecraft. Lazar provided detailed descriptions of the alleged alien spacecraft, asserting that there were 9 flying saucers stored in hangars at S4.
Exactly what's going on up there?
Well, there's several, actually 9 flying saucers, flying discs that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
He described the interior of these crafts, highlighting advanced technology that surpassed human understanding at the time. One of the most crucial elements of Lazar's claims was the mention of element 115 as a fuel source of the UFOs. This element, according to Lazar, played a crucial role in the propulsion system of the extraterrestrial craft. 1990. Investigations and skepticism. In the aftermath of Lazar's revelations, investigative journalist George Knapp continued to explore his story, presenting additional interviews and information. However, Lazar's claims faced intense scrutiny and skepticism grew as researchers and critics questioned his educational and employment background. Discrepancies in Lazar's record and the absence of conventional evidence supporting his assertion raised doubts about the authenticity of his narrative. 2003. Element 115 validation. A significant development occurred in 2003 when element 115, a key component in Lazar's claims, was officially synthesized and added to the periodic table. This development lent a degree of credibility to Lazar's statements, as the existence of element 115 had been a point of contention and skepticism. The confirmation of this element provided some validation for Lazar's descriptions of the technology he claimed to have worked on. 1990s to 2020s. Media appearances and documentaries. Lazar continued to be a prominent figure in discussions about UFOs and extraterrestrial technology, making appearances in various media outlets, interviews and documentaries. The 2018 documentary Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers brought his story back into the spotlight. The documentary explored Lazar's background, the alleged S4 site, and the controversies surrounding his claims. Throughout these appearances, Lazar reiterated his concerns about government secrecy and the potential misuse of advanced extraterrestrial technology. He argued that the public had the right to know about these advancements, and he has consistently maintained his stance over the years, despite persistent skepticism. Ongoing skepticism and controversy. Despite Lazar's steadfastness, skepticism surrounding his claims has endured. Critics have pointed to inconsistencies in his story, ranging from discrepancies in his educational background to questions about his employment history. Some argue that Lazar's narrative may be a mix of genuine experiences, misinformation, and possibly even deliberate disinformation. The scientific community in particular remains divided on the validity of the Lazar's claims. While some within the UFO and conspiracy theory communities consider him a whistleblower revealing hidden truths, mainstream scientists and skeptics question the lack of concrete evidence and the veracity of his statements. Broader UFO discourse. Lazar's narrative has become entwined with the broader discourse on UFOs, government secrecy, and the search for extraterrestrial life. Over the years, there has been an increased acknowledgement of military UFO sightings, declassified government documents, and a growing interest in the scientific community. The emergence of the US Navy's encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena (UAP), as well as the establishment of the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, has added a layer of complexity to the ongoing conversation. While these developments do not necessarily validate Lazar's specific claims, they contribute to a broader acknowledgement of unexplained aerial phenomena and the need for further investigation. Conclusion. Bob Lazar's discussions on aliens and UFOs have left an indelible mark on the landscape of conspiracy theories and extraterrestrial lore. His claims, spanning over 3 decades, continue to captivate the imagination of enthusiasts while sparking skepticism within the scientific and mainstream communities. The controversies surrounding Lazar's narrative raise important questions about the nature of disclosure, government secrecy, and the search for truth in the realms of UFOs. Whether one views Lazar as a courageous whistleblower or a purveyor of elaborate stories, his contributions have undeniably played a role in shaping the ongoing dialogue about the possibility of advanced extraterrestrial technology and the existence of intelligent life beyond our planet. The broader UFO discourse, spurred by Lazar's claims and the other developments, continue to evolve, leaving open-ended questions that captivate the curious and fuel the debates that may lie beyond our current understanding.
My name's Bob Lazar. I'm known for working at a classified base known as S4 out in the Nevada desert near Area 51. And there, we reverse engineered alien spacecraft.